episode 58. Let's do this. Welcome to the Hack Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Barnes, providing right now solutions to some of your biggest teaching and learning problems. Now, let's hack learning. What does it mean to be a master teacher? You know, as I publish Hack Learning series books written by some of the best educators you'll ever find, and produce the Hack Learning podcast and create content for the hacklearning.org site, it's all about making teachers better. I mean, that's really my mission. A longtime educator, over 20 years in the classroom, both junior high and high school. I have done everything I possibly can in that long period of time to get better at teaching and learning. And when I left the classroom, I said, I'm going to do all I can now to apply what I've learned to find out what other people know that I don't know, and to pass that along to all education stakeholders in every way that I possibly can, using every channel of distribution so that teaching and learning can get better, because our kids deserve it. And we can't get bogged down by the policymakers, a bureaucracy, accountability, standardized testing, and all of the things that frustrate educators and parents and certainly students. What we have to do instead is hack learning. We have to say, how can we get better? So today, we're hacking the master teacher. Because when you think about it, that should be our goal, right? Whether you're a parent or a classroom teacher or a school leader, a senior administrator, someone in the private sector, we should want to be master teachers, because when you're a master teacher, you're certainly a master learner. So I've been thinking a lot about this, and I've been talking to my personal and professional learning network, my stakeholders, my peeps. I've been talking to educators on Twitter and Facebook, on my blog, on my email list. I've been asking them in just open-ended questions and in surveys and all kinds of ways, what makes you great? What do you need more of to continue your journey toward being a master teacher and learner? What's it all about? I've read many things. I've gone to conferences and listened to the greats. I listen to podcasts of so many gurus out there, not just teachers, but people who are educating many stakeholders in many different subjects. It isn't always just in the classroom that we teach and learn. We should be lifelong teachers and learners. And the best way I have found to become a master teacher is to emulate the masters, to find them, to look at their successes, and to emulate as much of their habits as is possible. And that's why recently I thought, let's start this master teacher thing with a collection of habits of master teachers. So how do you find those? Well, what I have done, and I've alluded to this, I have listened to and read about people that I would consider masters. So what makes someone a master teacher? Well, I think there's a lot of things involved in this. First of all, master teachers I have found are lifelong learners. They're always seeking knowledge, and then they're sharing that knowledge with their audience. Master teachers can't get enough. So they are listening to podcasts, they are reading, and this is a really important one, and we've talked about this in other Hack Learning podcast episodes, master teachers build a tribe. And this tribe is filled with like-minded people, but they're not all the same in their thinking. The like-minded people are interested in similar topics, but they bring their own special skill set. You might have like-minded tribe members on Twitter in your personal learning network, or in a Facebook group, or in a Voxer group where you're communicating with a small amount of stakeholders, and you're all sharing your successes and failures. And doing this makes you better. And you know what? doing this, creating that tribe, sharing content, and building off of that, making yourself better from what you learn, is a habit of a master teacher. This is one of many habits that I have found. And in doing this, I thought, I want to share this with my audience because master teachers do that. And I'm striving to be a master. I don't call myself one, but I'm striving to be that, a master teacher and learner. So I say, you know what? I want to continue to share great content with all of my stakeholders beyond things like the Hack Learning series books, which I think are fabulous for sharing expertise, which you need. So I hope you'll check out Hack Learning books. But what I did is I said, let me collect these habits from various sources, from podcasts, from books, from conferences I've attended, and from people I've talked to, and sort of say, what are the key habits of master teachers? And I put those in a slide presentation and turned that into a downloadable PDF, and I want you to have it. Now, this is not a sales pitch. I want you to have this, and all you have to do is go to masterteacherhabits.com, and you can get it there. All you have to do is I want you to sign up for an email list. I'll reach out to you occasionally with more great content, but you'll get this immediately. And let me tell you, I shared this after I created it. I said, I'm going to put this out there, and anyone who signs up for it can get it immediately. It's free because it's so important and it makes you better. But then I had existing people on my email list that I reach out to occasionally. These are my VIPs. These are people who sometimes they read Hack Learning books before they're even published. Sometimes I say, hey, I want you to take a look at this and give me some feedback. What do you think? Something I can share with authors to say, this is what people are saying about this. Sometimes I record a message like I'm doing on a podcast, but I don't publish it to the Hack Learning podcast. I share it with my list, and I say, hey, I want to talk to you about something, and this is just you and me sharing information. And it's amazing how many people reply, and I have this ongoing conversation with my tribe. So, and that's a key habit. That's one of the key habits of master teachers that I have learned, is that masters have a tribe of people that they can go to. So I said, I'm going to put this list together and I'm going to share it out with my tribe. But also I said, it's too good to keep. It can't be exclusive. It's got to be available to everyone. So I'm sharing it out there at masterteacherhabits.com, and you can grab it today. And I just want to talk about a few of these habits. So we've been talking about building a tribe and making yourself better through that tribe. And that, I believe, with all fibers of my being, is a major and important habit of master teachers. They have a tribe. They'll tell you that. You listen to them. Take anyone you believe in, someone like Tony Robbins, one of the great inspirational teacher leaders in the world, and he'll tell you, as he did in his recent TV show that was all about his life and the things he does to make people better. It's called I Am Not Your Guru. He says, I'm not your guru. I'm not one person making you better. I'm part of a community. So I love that. A couple of other habits of master teachers that I want to share today. And then you can get the rest in this really neat presentation, completely free. People are downloading it. They're taking it to school and work with them. There's a quick one sheet with the 10 habits. A lot of people are grabbing that and they're pinning it up somewhere. If you're a classroom teacher, it's great to put up in class and share with students, share with colleagues. So a couple of other habits. One thing I have learned in listening to great leaders and reading their books and the things they talk about, and talking to them on Twitter and in other social networks, is that they get started early. They rise and shine. That's what one of the slides says on this presentation, the 10 habits of master teachers, which you can get at masterteacherhabits.com. And one of them is, I think it's the first one, rise and shine. Because what great leaders do is they get up, and the research shows that in the mornings we're more efficient than at other times of the day, early. And they get up, oftentimes before the sun rises, and they accomplish things. Sometimes they start that day by taking care of body and soul. They begin with some sort of routine, some exercise. One of my favorite teacher leaders is a guy named John Lee Dumas. Now, John Lee Dumas, I may have mentioned him on this show before. He has a podcast called EO Fire. That's Entrepreneur on Fire. And what he does is he interviews great leaders every day and shares content with them. But then he takes the lessons he learns in those interviews and he turns it into amazing content that he shares, much of it free. How to be a podcaster, how to share content online, how to produce webinars that people want to listen to where you can share your knowledge with them. And I believe he is a master teacher. And John Lee Dumas, one of the things he says, talking about taking care of body and soul, he says he has to start his day by getting up early and hydrating. He talks about hydrating, such a simple thing, He says, I have to stay hydrated. He exercises, he runs, he lives near the beach, he runs on the beach, and he talks all about hydration and exercise and how he can't really do anything else until he does those things. And I've heard many great leaders say, I get up in the morning, I exercise, maybe I meditate for a little bit, and I do these things, then I get to work that maybe I can't do the rest of my day. If you're a teacher, you think of the things that bog you down. Think of emails, communicating through email, reading emails from parents, from colleagues, from school leaders. And you often say, well, I don't have time for that. Well, if you're up early and you take care of your body and soul, and you feel good, you feel energized, and then you've got time before you actually go to work. You say, well, I can do some of these little things that look like extras. They look like the menial part of the job, but they play a role. They're important. It's easy to push them aside, yet you're more effective when you get to those things. So rise and shine and get to those things early. Okay, so we've talked about in Hacking Master Teachers, which is what we're doing here, we've talked about 3 important habits of master teachers. First of all, they build a tribe and share globally. They share what they know and they get information from people all around the world. They rise and shine because it's important to get up early in the morning and do a lot of the things that as your day goes by, you say, well, I don't have time for that. One of those things you can do is to take care of body and soul. So if you're up early, if you're rising and shining, why not start? And I did this, and I'll tell you, I like to use myself as an example because I believe in getting better. And over time I have. I used to be horrible at body and soul. I can tell you that. I was really bad at it, and I wasn't healthy. And I learned from great teacher leaders that it's so important that you have to do it, that in order to be an efficient thinker and creator and curator of information and someone who makes others better, you have to take care of yourself first. So body and soul is another one, and I'm a big believer in that. I'm up early every day. The first thing I do is hydrate. I exercise, meditate, take care of body and soul because everything else is better after that. So we're talking about teacher leaders, and we're sharing their habits. And I want you to do something, and please do this now or at your earliest convenience today because it will make you better, and then it'll make all of your stakeholders better. Go to masterteacherhabits.com and grab the 10 Habits of Master Teachers. It's downloadable. You can print it. You can share it out. It's a quick guide that makes you better. I'm really excited about this. It's free content. I'm the Hack Learning publisher. We publish books. We sell the books, but we give away so much, and I think it's important to do. And I'm really proud of this. And I spent a wealth of time gathering these habits, and I spent a few hours putting this presentation together, and I want you to have it today. masterteacherhabits.com. Check it out. Download it there. We'll link it on the show notes page. And this is, I believe, episode 58 of the Hack Learning podcast. So Go get it today, masterteacherhabits.com. Start taking care of yourself and emulating the masters as much as you can, because it'll make you great. As always, we continue the conversation at #HackLearning on Twitter and on the show notes page at hacklearningpodcast.com. Thanks for listening. See you next time.